Hi, everybody. This is Erica from In the Company of Cards. If you are new, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. This is the Sunday edition, so I call this the Sunday Conversation. And it's where I bring on friends of mine who are doing interesting things that I think you all might be interested in. And we just have a conversation and kind of let you eavesdrop without having to use a glass or anything. So today we have my friend Lori Lytle, and she's a Canadian, and we love our Canadians over here. Let me just say, from the bottom of my heart and from the majority of my country, sorry. We love you. We love you. We love you. We love you. So that's about as political you all as I'm going to get today. But Lori has written a book that I have read. It is available everywhere, but I will put a link both to the title and to how to get it. Called Talismans and Tarot. And so I thought she'd be a great person to have on to sort of I mean, don't take this the wrong way, Lori, but like as a palate cleanser, from the weeks that we've had. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thanks, Erica. I'm so happy to have this chance to chat with you. And it's been ages since I've seen you in person, I feel like. So it's
I
been,
know. Yeah, I met Lori years ago in Canada at a conference. It's an every 2 year conference
yeah.
in Kingston, the Kingston Tarot and Lenormand Conference. And it's coming up again. When is it?
It's a year, well,
A
next
year
year, so
away.
November. And I'm going to be one of the speakers too,
That's what I was
Erica.
just about to say. Lori's going to be one of the presenters. I was a presenter, I think,
Yeah,
at the
that's
last one.
great.
And
Yeah,
let me tell you something. It is a wonderful conference. There are not a lot of these conferences around much anymore.
true. Yeah,
And it is a wonderful one. Marilyn Shannon is the woman who puts this event on, and she's a terrific host. And
that's for sure.
it's a lot of fun. And I think there's a payment plan if you're interested. And so it's in a year from this coming November. So you've got plenty
Yeah,
of time. And well, to be political again, God willing, and the creek don't rise,
yeah,
things will be such that we will be best friends once again, and it'll be very easy to go and to come back and kumbaya and all of that. So I will put a link, I think, also to that
great,
conference, especially since you're going to be speaking there.
great.
So I read the book. And one of the things that I really thought that was interesting about you cover a lot of bases. So if you're someone among my audience who watches me for my political content, but have sort of stayed to learn Lenormand and have realized that, oh, I'd like to be able to try my hand at this
Mm,
metaphysical stuff. Lori's book, Talismans and Tarot, is a great way to start. Um,
yeah.
I love that you walk us through the tarot deck in a really friendly, systematic way. What is your sign? What is your sun sign?
Oh, I'm Gemini.
Gemini. What's your
Yeah.
rising sign?
Libra.
Libra. So that's interesting. Two air signs because I was saying to my partner, I wonder if she's got a lot of earth in her because
Oh,
it's
okay.
just a
Yeah.
very patient walk through of everything. And when I say everything, tarot is one of the many things that Lori really patiently holds your hand and walks you through so that you feel competent and confident. And
Mm.
then I love the conversation about things like so a talisman. You want to tell everybody what a talisman is?
Yeah, for sure, Erica. So thank you for that because you expressed it really beautifully where I'm coming from. Because like before I even get into talismans, I just want to appreciate what you said because I want people to feel really comfortable and happy to work with this book wherever they're coming from. That was my goal. Like so it is the topic is talismans and tarot, but it's really easing you into the world of magic and how you
Exactly.
weave all those things together. But
Mission
a talisman.
accomplished. Mission accomplished.
Thank you. And that's why it's really fun to use this book too, because it layers all kinds of interesting magical techniques and so it gets your foot in the door, so to speak, right? Or if you're already a practitioner, then you'll find something new to play with, I think.
Mhm.
But a talisman, so getting back to your question, so a talisman is a magical tool. It's your own personal magical tool that helps you to manifest your goals, achieve your dreams. It's like it's your magical helper, right? And so what I talk about in the book, a talisman can really be anything. But Erica, I have a love of shiny things like jewelry and crystals, and I don't know if you can tell. So
Yeah.
I usually work with a pendant or a bracelet or ring, or so, usually a pendant. So something that I can wear, because then you even have more of that physical sort of tactile element to it, that you feel it on your body, right? But essentially a talisman is holding and amplifying your own magic. So it's I don't want to give the impression that you just need like one little magic thing and it's going to do all the work for you. It's something that supports you in really clarifying what it is you want to achieve, what your intention is, what you want to feel like, what you want to do. And then by creating a talisman, you're putting all that energy and that intention into it, and it becomes something that supports you and draws opportunities to you, but and prompts you to effective action too.
I always tell people, thoughts become things.
Yeah, yeah,
One of the things that I like that you've done is that you've shown the connection, I'm going to say, between
yeah.
thoughts and things. So yes, thoughts become things, that's true, but you're coming at it from the other angle, which I love, which is the fact that things can be catalysts for other things,
Love that. Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So
And
I
I think
have a
those
couple
thoughts.
of little objects that I don't think people know. I mean, I'm pretty sure they.
Oh,
So, for example, I wear a cowrie shell in my hair. And this is to remind me and everyone else that I am worth a lot, we'll just say. Cowrie shells are used as money in certain parts of Africa. And so even though they're ubiquitous, you can find them everywhere, they
yeah.
still speak to the value of someone. And in the back, nobody knows. So this is just a regular cowrie shell. But in the back, so when people are behind me, I want them to know too, so I wear a gold one.
Oh, nice.
I also have always had from the time that I started this channel, so I guess this would qualify as a talisman, because
Yeah,
I want you to talk about the differences between
yeah.
lucky objects, amulets, and talismans, but I guess this would count as a talisman. So I have a rose quartz, and I
Beautiful.
keep it behind my ring light. And because, I'm talking to the public, I'm communicating with everyone, and sometimes I talk about things that are hard to talk about or hard to hear, but I
Mhm.
always want people to feel as though I'm coming from a place of
Love.
love. And so that's why I always keep that behind my
Aw.
ring light. So I'm,
Wow, you're really giving us behind the scenes secrets
oh,
here,
wait a
Eric.
minute. And I actually have, does this look familiar to you at all?
Oh, look at that. Yeah, no.
So I got this from you all. This is from
Oh,
years
wow.
ago, years ago, and
Wow.
it is a pendulum, obviously.
Pendulum, yeah.
So it's a pendant that hangs on a chain.
Fantastic.
Right before I do a video, I'll say, is this going to go well? And it will tell me that it's going to go well.
Very good. All
So,
right.
so let's back up
Yeah, okay.
and start with the most basic thing, which is
Hmm.
like a good luck charm or a good luck. Tell us about what's that all about?
Yeah. So as you mentioned, and I talk about it in the book too, Erica, but as you mentioned, like I start off by talking about the difference between Lucky Charms, amulets, talismans, because I'm kind of building a case for the talisman.
Clearly,
Because
yes.
I have to admit, like, I am covered in protected, I'm always wearing amulets, protective things that, and Lucky Charms, my purse is really heavy all the time. Keep finding, oh, there's a crystal or something. But so they all have their place. Lucky Charms, amulets, and talismans are all useful, and I work with all of them. But the main difference is to me that amulets and Lucky Charms are passive and talismans are active. So something like an amulet is protecting you from oftentimes external forces. Right? You're trying to control the world. So an amulet protects you from something bad happening
Okay,
to
so
you.
keep something away. And a lucky charm, I would think, would be
Yeah.
something like, well, I hope something
Mhm.
happens.
And yeah, and a lucky charm is a little bit in between because with a lucky charm, we hope it's going to attract good luck to us.
Right,
But it's not focused. It's not a particular purpose. So
right.
I feel like amulets and lucky charms are ways that we can deal with this crazy world that we are
Yeah,
living in. And it's just like I'm going out the door, I'm wearing my protective amulet, right?
right,
I don't leave the house without an evil eye myself
right.
and among other things. But so that to me is just general protection from any unwanted negative influences in the world. And Lucky Charms, might surprise you, but I am superstitious. Probably could have guessed that. But so I'm like, hey, I might as well invite luck if I can as well. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I always have a lucky charm, but that's just like, as I said, it's just hoping for something good
Right, right.
and drawing to me. But a talisman is different because when you create a talisman, first of all.
Okay.
There are traditional ones, like ones that have been used for centuries, but I like the idea of creating your own that's unique to you,
Hmm.
which is what the book gets into all those things. But essentially, the difference is you're creating this talisman for a specific purpose. You have an intention, you have something you want to happen, you have a way you want to feel, you have a goal, a dream you want to reach. So that's magic. You're trying to create the change that you desire, right? So when you create a talisman, you're you're working with it. It sounds funny to say maybe, but you're working together to achieve a goal. So that talisman is made through a process of magic, clarifying your intention, and then picking the material that you're going to use that is the most appropriate for what you want to achieve, and lots of different layers. So there's a process, there's magic that you're weaving into it. You're putting your own energy, it's amplifying your energy and your intention. So a talisman is something that is very specific, that I want to achieve this, or I
And
want to
how
realize.
specific can you be?
You can be really specific, Erica. But that's a good question because I work with many different kinds of talismans, and some are really specific. Like I want to finish writing this book by the deadline or something.
Okay.
Or I want to get this job, or I want this to happen. It can be really specific. Sometimes people could be working with, as I mentioned, a particular date. I want a new job, I want a new house, I want this, I want my whatever your goal is by a certain time. You can be really specific and you're imbuing that into your talisman. The other kind of talisman that I like to work with is a bit more ongoing. So you might, just like with your rose quartz, you may have an ongoing desire to love yourself a little bit better, put more love out into the world. How can I be a more compassionate person? How can I lift up the world with my love in my heart? So that doesn't have an end date.
Right.
That's
Okay. That's what I
something
should
that,
ask you.
right?
Okay.
I want to be more confident. I want to feel more loved. These are things that I want to heal from something. These are things that are not so quantifiable. Like I want to get this job by this date and make this much money or whatever. So you can tailor your talisman to however specific or broad you want it to be.
So, so that piece of rose quartz was
Yeah.
made by the earth. I had nothing to do with it. I didn't finish it, polish it, but I gathered from the book, that you encourage people to create their own talismans.
Mhm.
So, um, my first thought, I'm not a very, you're a beautiful jewelry maker. So,
No, no, I don't make the jewelry, Erica.
who
No,
makes,
no.
make jewelry?
I source the jewelry, but
You
I have
source it.
no,
Okay.
no. no crafty.
Oh, that was my question. I was
Yeah,
like, what
yeah.
if you're not, what if you're not, you know?
100%. No, I have done no. So go on. But
So no, that's really helpful to know. So when you say, um, okay, so the first thing I guess you would have would be an intention, something that you want
yes,
to achieve
yes,
or
yes, yeah,
effect. Okay, so that's second, you would probably research what materials speak to that particular intention.
yes, yeah,
Okay, like let's say, I don't know, you want more money, so maybe you say, oh, well, citrine or something.
sure,
So
yeah,
now I have my intention and I have a piece of citrine.
yeah,
But you say there's a lot more to it than that.
yeah, yeah. That's where it gets really fun, Erica.
Okay, so tell us about that.
So what my process, even backing it up to how I got into this
Mhm.
adventure in the first place. So I came to the realization that I was using tarot and talismans for the same purpose for many years, but separately. Because
Interesting.
I always read, as a tarot reader, I'm approaching the cards always with the idea that they are helpful and empowering rather than completely fatalistic.
Hmm.
So I have always turned to my cards to help me to achieve something. So something like, how can I blah, blah, blah this, right? Not will I ever, right? More like, how can I do something? So, and the cards never let me down. Like there's always, even if they're tough cards, they're not always all, as you know, all sunshine and flowers and everything, but they always offered me something useful, whether it's a practical action I could take or something mindset related. Anyway, I always worked with the cards as something helpful of how can I live better? How
Well,
can
now
I?
you said something that I really
Yeah,
want people to take,
yeah,
which is the question that you ask is really
yeah,
all important.
yes,
You don't want to ask, will I ever, blah, 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 because
yeah,
even just the way you're asking it, you're implying
yeah,
that, yeah, that's not going to happen. But if
yeah,
you ask it the way you suggested, I think this is really brilliant and important. If you say, what do I need to do to achieve this? Well,
yeah,
that
yeah,
assumes that you, in fact, can achieve it. And the
yes.
universe's language, if it's vibrational, even the way you ask the question makes a difference. So I love that you said that.
And that's part of the process that I go through in the book. And that is really why I brought tarot into the process of making a talisman. Because just as you said, Erica, like you're putting out to the universe. You're telling your higher self, you're telling the universe what you want. And if you don't know what you want, then how are you going to get it?
Right.
And it sounds funny to say that, oh, I don't know what I want, but oftentimes we're so disconnected with what do I actually want or what makes me happy. So in my book, that you're starting the process with a tarot reading. You come in with an intention. You know you want more or you want to feel a different way, but perhaps you don't have a lot of clarity on what that looks like and how you can do it. So you start with a tarot reading to really hone in on what it is that you want to achieve. And I find that more often than not, the cards open that up for you. They say,
Mhm.
wait a minute, you say you want this small thing? Let's show you what you're really capable of. We're going to
Mhm.
open it up and widen your perspective. So the cards show you your capabilities and your strengths. And again, not to say that they don't give you some hard truths or say maybe you need to be a little, work on this or but I always find even if the message is going in that challenging direction, the cards are going to give you something to work with.
And what I love again about the book is that if you are in the audience and you're like, well, so much for that because I can't read tarot, the way that you present the tarot,
Mm.
you really don't need another book. Like you don't need or a course or anything like that.
Yeah,
You really lay out what the cards mean and how to
yeah,
read them. So
thanks.
the book is very much, like I said, like a one-stop shop, uh,
You got it.
soup to nuts. So
Oh,
that's why you start with page one, you all,
yeah,
and
exactly.
walk through it because you read that tarot section and you'll feel confident that you can then proceed.
Exactly. That's my goal.
Mhm.
And I did tailor the meanings are what I don't want to say the traditional meanings. They're to me what they mean to me, but also traditional because I've studied tarot for a long time and
Right.
all the things. But I do include a few things that tie it in to your helping you form that intention, helping you choose your material. There are little things tailored to the talisman process. But that was my goal, as we said before, like to give somebody a book that's really giving you the basis of tarot, the basics of tarot, so that you can feel really confident to then move into the next part of the
Mhm.
process. Yeah.
Mhm.
So where did I leave off
So,
there? I got too excited talking about tarot.
no, yeah, well, no,
Oh,
because
yes, the
that's where
tarot
we
reading.
start.
Yeah. But the layers. So
Yeah.
when you're reading a talisman, you start with the tarot reading and you're going to laser sharp clarity on what you want and what that looks like, what that feels like. You might get some insights into how you're going to achieve it, but you don't have to have any pressure because you've got more magical work that you're going to do and it's going to become clear. But so then you can start the fun of layering on your magic. So I talk about different materials that you might want to use. Just as you said, Erica, like rose quartz, wonderful for anything with the heart and with love and self-love. But you might want to layer something else onto it, like a particular symbol. Maybe you want to work with a particular metal or a symbol or any kind of material. And if somebody has the ability to actually craft something themselves, I envy you and go for it. Or you could use an acorn that you find outside or
Or like
whatever.
you could cut out a picture from a magazine.
Yeah, it's all good. But it's just that everything is done with intention.
Yeah.
So there's no just fluff on there. It's like, okay, I'm choosing this stone because maybe I want to use rose quartz for love, but then I want the rose quartz to be in a silver, like a silver Baal. And because silver is the goddess and intuition and mystery, maybe I want to layer that. Or maybe I want gold because I'm going for a different feeling. Maybe I want to use a particular symbol. So the material of your talisman, and it should be like it should be something that you love. You want to work with it. Feels
Wait,
good for you.
okay. Now, wait, this is a stupid question.
Yeah.
But you're a nice Canadian, so you won't tell me that. That's so stupid. All right. So I'm thinking about rose quartz, right?
Yeah.
And I'm saying, okay, silver, that's perfect. How am I supposed to stick that together?
No, it's a good question. Yeah. And it's like you might even sometimes the clients that I work with, they may have a piece of jewelry that they love. And it's like, I'm not wearing a crystal right now, I'm wearing silver actually, but maybe you have I have an amethyst set in silver. So maybe you choose a ring that's in silver already. Or you could use wire, wrap, whatever
Okay.
you
All
want to
right. Good.
do.
Got it.
Anything, right?
Oh, that's good. Yeah. The one. Okay. Got it. All
Yeah.
right.
And so the material is a lot of fun and it's a fun part of the process because this is the thing that you're going to be working with or
Yeah.
wearing, having in your pocket. It's going to be really close to you and while you're working on this goal. So something that is appealing to you is even better. Something that you find beautiful or magical or whatever. It's just something that you're like, oh, I'm happy to work with this thing. But then you can put all kinds of other fun layers on there. Like part of the process of making a talisman is consecrating it. So that's when you're doing the magic, you're doing a ritual that's turning it from just a little piece of rose quartz into a magical talisman. So you can choose the timing of when you want to do that ritual. So you may choose a particular day of the week. And I was just, thinking about like you could do pick a day of the week. You could be aware of the moon phase. You could layer all these things.
Well, and
But
you do in the book. That's
yeah,
another thing that you do is that you go through each of the days of the week
yeah,
and talk about their significance. So you at no point is someone
yeah,
actually left in the lurch and saying, okay, well, I like Tuesdays, but what's that got to do with anything? You
yeah.
let people know the significance of that day of the week, which I think is great.
And it's just fun to add that because you're adding more and more layers of meaning and power to your talisman. And you're always going back to your intention and your main theme. What is it I want to achieve? So, okay, this day of the week or this moon phase might be good. Or I've sometimes done workshops and created talismans when it's a particular holiday or occasion or something. I did a great workshop on, it was International Women's Day once, and we were all like, yeah, that's a great energy to tap
Mhm.
into. So imagine that you're just, we have all this magical energy around us at our disposal if we tap into it. And
Yep.
it's their thing. Yeah, go ahead and work with me. So you can tap into all those different layers. And the one thing I want to say though is that you don't have to make it so complicated that it becomes no longer fun.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because as you know, just like you said, the way that I write, Erica, it's I want it to be welcoming and cozy and giving you confidence. So I don't want to give the impression that this is a really esoteric practice that you could get wrong, that you could mess it up. You can't mess it up. This is
Right,
coming from you and your intention. But
right.
it just adds more and more power when you add these different, when you consider all these different things. And I think when it comes to timing with the talismans, is most important thing is to actually do it. So you don't have to wait until every star is aligned so that and all the forces are exactly where you want it. It's better to just pick a few key things like I go through in the book and actually do it, do
Mhm.
the thing. Yeah, rather than waiting for everything to be 100% perfect. Yeah.
Right. No,
Yeah.
it's like, it's very much, it's like walking your talk, as they say,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? By using these elements to make clear to the universe, no, I'm serious. I really, really want
Yeah.
X.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, another thing I thought that was very interesting was, well, you talk about crystals. You also talk about metals, which I think is
Mm.
like I write with a brass pen.
Oh, nice.
And mostly because I like the weight of brass, but I
Yeah.
also I also feel like it has some sort of alchemical
Yeah.
significance. And I know
Yeah.
you address a bunch of the metals in the book.
Yeah. I love that because it's sort of it's anything to I'm a big fan of silver, as I'm sure you can probably tell.
Yes.
But that energy really resonates with me as a goddess follower and an introvert because
Mhm.
it's that moon energy, it's that inner world. But that something like gold or bronze or brass, that's so outward because Erica, you're putting your words out to the world
Right.
with confidence and strength. So I feel like that metal really supports that, the success of that. So you can choose things that resonate with you rather than trying to, I don't know, like use something that just might work for someone else or somebody told you it'd be good. No, you can pick something that still feels like you, but it's going to be powerful.
I've talked about this saint before on my channel. I'm not Catholic, but
Mm,
Saint Teresa of Avila.
mm,
And she had a thing that she used to say. You could argue that it's a prayer, but the
yeah.
words were they're just four words. My every act a prayer. And I
Oh,
feel like this is what you are teaching people how
mm,
to do, to use the elements that are around us, that the earth has gifted us with, and pour intentionality into them, which is if that's not prayer, I don't know what it is, you
yeah.
know?
That's
So
really
so I mean, I think it's a form of prayer. And we in this world nowadays feel a lot of people feel like there's nothing that they can do.
yeah.
And I mean, they can't get an audience with the orange sun god. They
Mhm.
can't you know, speak at the UN. They can't do, there's a lot of things we can't do. Can't change your neighbor's mind about whoever it is that they're supporting. But there are these small, quiet things that, although they may be small and quiet and personal, they are as significant
Mhm.
as the grand gestures of the world, maybe more so.
Oh, that's really beautiful, Erica. And
Yeah.
and I 100% agree with you because what you're saying sparks for me some of my own personal practices that they're my personal rituals and they're just as you said quiet things. But things like putting on jewelry for me is a ritual because
Mhm.
everything I put on in the morning is has an intention. There's a reason why, okay, I'm picking this for today. And and then putting it on gives me that opportunity to connect with that energy and reflect on my intentions for the day. Because, in my other life, Erica, I'm a wedding officiant. I perform wedding ceremonies, which is a ritual.
Yeah.
It's a ceremony and it's a ritual. So that's my world is flooded with ritual on different levels. And
Mhm.
I feel like this is something that we're missing right now
I
in
agree.
this time of that we're living in. People don't have rituals and ceremonies, and we miss that.
Mhm.
So we need that,
Mhm.
but we don't, there's no easy way for in your daily life to celebrate things and honor things in that way. So you can do that for yourself with things like creating a talisman, reading your cards in the morning. Like, why not see it as a sacred ritual? And again, Erica, I don't mean to make it sound like, oh, it's daunting, don't do it because it's a ritual that I have to do exactly correctly. It's like, this is a personal practice. And I like to call it a ritual because to me, it's sacred.
Well,
So,
think about it. There are religions in the world, all over the world, that will tell you, oh, come to our house of
mm,
worship. We've got all kinds of rituals and we got
yeah,
it. But this is, I think Pluto and Aquarius is turning everything on its head, not the least of which will be our own understanding of our relationship to spirit.
yeah, yeah,
And, one of the reasons that I put my channel up is I wanted to show people um, that they have access to their higher self, which is the part of
yeah,
them that's God,
yeah.
that they don't need somebody to tell them how to do it and what time to do it and what's the wrong way and the right way to do it, but that we, as our birthright, have these tools available to us, and that's why I love this whole idea of tarot and talismans because the tarot offers this framework and
Mhm.
talismans offer, again, the natural world
Mm,
as a resource and a
mm,
mechanism, an intermediary source, let's say,
mm,
between
mhm.
us and spirit. Like I tell people, now, you and I can maybe differ on this. I think this will be interesting. Is I read your discussion of tarot,
Mm,
and I know tarot as well. I read tarot as well.
yeah.
And I tell people about Lettermond. I say, just so you know, in the end, this is ink, which is a
Mm,
natural resource coming from
mm,
flowers and berries and all of that, on paper, which is
mm,
wood, which is from trees. So
mm,
it's, flowers and trees or
mm.
berries and trees. You can't get more earthy
I love
than
that.
those
Yeah.
elemental things, right? And they are just a translation tool. They're a
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
of translating the language of, you know, Kairos,
Mm,
into the language of Chronos, the time that we live
mm,
in.
mm.
So, um, but you've made me think a bit differently, I think, um, about things like actual cards and actual, you know, things. Which is, I mean, I think you come at this from a very animist
Mm,
perspective, which I really like, meaning that no, it's not just that there's paper and ink, and okay, Erica, you're throwing it a bone by saying trees and flowers, but it's but it's more than that.
mm.
There's a spirit in everything.
Beautiful. Yeah. I think, Erica, because I'm agree with you, a tarot deck is just paper. It's just cardboard pieces of paper. But I think human beings have a relationship with things, with physical objects
Exactly.
since the beginning. Yeah. So
Yes.
I think there, but we put our intention and our power into them. And things like crystals are wonderful because they have their own energy and plants and anything that you mentioned, right? They all have their own energy that we can learn to resonate with. So I'm not saying like I don't mean to say like a tarot deck. I don't want to belittle it by saying it's just pieces of paper. It's
Right.
not what I mean. But I'm not saying that if I lost my favorite tarot deck, then I can't read tarot anymore or
Right.
something
Well,
because all my power
let
was
me
in it.
ask you this. I'm curious
Yeah.
about this. So I've heard tarot people say, well, first I'll say something about Lenormand.
Okay.
When I was a new widow, and people would say, "Oh, call me anytime," but people have lives; they don't really know.
Yeah.
So at 3 a.m., I'm not calling anybody, but I would use my Lenormand deck,
Yeah.
and I would
Yeah.
ask a question, and then I would ask it again, and I would ask it again, and I would ask it again, and I've never felt with Lenormand that Lenormand was like, "Girl, why are you asking me this question again?" I always felt that they would say, okay, we said it using these words and you didn't get it. No problem. Let's
Yeah.
say the same thing using
Yeah.
different words. But I've heard tarot people say, oh, tarot doesn't like it when you ask a question,
Oh,
when you
really?
ask X question,
Oh,
when you ask
okay.
X question more than once, or what do you
Okay.
think
Okay.
about that?
I hear you because I've know what you're talking about. That because there to me there's no value in doing a tarot reading and completely ignoring what the cards told you and then trying it again.
That's true.
That's different. I
Right.
think that's different. So if you have a question on your mind and you do a tarot reading and then the next day or an hour later you ask again because you didn't like what you saw,
That's
that's
not good.
that's different.
Yeah.
That's different because then that's a different thing. But I have never had my cards have never been mean to me or cut me off or
Right.
anything like that.
Right. So
I
I want to
I
draw
just
that line for people so that they understand that
yeah.
as powerful as these tools are, um, you as the human being
Yeah.
are the driver of this train.
And Erica, like it's different as you well know all this stuff, but as it's different for everybody, right?
Mhm.
For me, and this is getting into a whole other topic, but when I read tarot, I do connect with something bigger than myself.
Right.
And that's my philosophy that I see
I agree with
the
that.
God is the universe, but not everybody feels that way. Some some people
Yeah,
don't
no, yes.
understand.
So,
Right?
okay, that's true. And for example, even with Lenormand, people will say this used to be a philosophy. I don't know where they got it from, but I've disabused
Yeah.
people of it. They'll say, "Oh, you don't need intuition to read tarot." I mean, Lenormand. Now,
Oh,
you can, but you know what? What I always say is there's reading and there's reading.
yes, 100%. Yeah.
Right? I
Yeah.
mean, and that was the nice thing too about your book is that somebody could say, "Well, I want to learn tarot," and Eric is telling me that this is a good book that I can use to learn tarot. So I'm going to get this book just for that. I'm not even going to look at their other part. I'm not going to read. They could do that.
Totally. Yeah.
Absolutely, they could do that, and they would learn how to read tarot. But we would probably both argue that's really good. You know more than you knew, but you are now at a certain level, and that's great. And maybe that's
Yeah.
where you're happy, and maybe
Yeah.
some people don't want to go beyond that. But
Yeah.
it's important to know that there are other levels. And when
Yeah.
you blend everything together,
Hmm.
you really do understand, I don't know, the sacredness of the human spirit,
Oh, beautiful.
right? And the fact that, and this is so trite because everybody says this, but that we are souls having a human experience. We're primarily souls, just
Mhm.
kind of in a body. This,
And that's Erica, because that really resonates with me because when I'm talking about talismans, like we are in a physical body for a reason.
yes,
And there's really wonderful things we could do with this body. So talismans are also physical things. So
exactly.
why not work with them? Why not like use all our intuition and also our physical senses that we're so lucky to have in this limited time we have in this physical body. And on the other side of it too, like when it comes to tarot and talismans, like I find I started this process partly because I found that you can give someone a really powerful tarot reading or read for yourself,
Mhm.
really powerful. And then you feel inspired and oh, you're going to change your life. And but then the memory of the tarot reading starts to dissipate. If you don't act on it or if you don't journal on it, make note, it can really quickly fade away. So part of the process in my book and the work that I do is a talisman records that reading for you.
That's right.
So not every card or every detail, but it records how you felt, how it made you feel, what
And
it
you have that
inspired
sense
in you.
memory. That's right. Absolutely. I love
Yeah.
that.
Hmm.
I think that's really important. I think sometimes people who are in metaphysics need to be like a balloon yanked back down to the ground and reminded that we, like you said, we are physical creatures in physical bodies
Yeah,
surrounded by
yeah,
physical things that are meant to bring us joy and comfort
yeah,
and
yeah,
clarity. And
yeah.
but if you are traditionally trained, let's say in religion, you're taught, oh, that's not good. That don't do that. And why would that be? I'm gonna take a guess because I think they know those institutions how powerful talismans are.
Yeah, yeah.
And so of course they take it for themselves and
Mm.
tell you that you can't access it. And yet there are the relics of saints, parts of their bodies that are kept in, I mean, whatever. But anyway, I mean, I just think everything is being flipped on its head in a really good way so that people um, can understand their own divinity, I guess is
Wow.
what I want to say.
Yeah, well said. Mm.
Now, something interesting that you said about, particularly with the talisman, that
Mm.
let's say it's not like my rose quartz, which sits there every time,
Yeah, yeah,
but it's something that I've created for a particular purpose. Like, oh,
yeah.
I don't know, um, something to happen between now and the next election, let's just say. And
Okay,
let's
yeah,
say
let's just
whatever
say.
that is happens.
Right.
Okay. So whatever that is happens. And so no matter how gorgeous that talisman is, how much I say, look at that, this thing is just I mean, it should be
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
It is, I love the word that you used. Once it has achieved its purpose, you said, it becomes decommissioned, like a ship. Like a ship, they've done all their missions, and now they get to sit in port forever and rest forever. So,
Yes, yeah.
so can you talk more about that process, about that whole the mindset of that, like what you do with a talisman once it has achieved its purpose?
Yeah, for sure. And that I'm glad you mentioned that because that's part of it. Like with it, when you're working with a talisman, you're working with it so actively. So in my book, I talk about practices that you can do to connect with your talisman's energy. And a lot of it for me is meditation and visualization, affirmations, all those kind of things, because you want to keep that connection. It's still powerful enough to wear it and you know, oh, I'm aware of my intention, and that's powerful. But you can take it beyond that by really working with it in ways like that I mentioned. But then when you achieve your goal, your talisman has done its work for you and deserves a rest. And it's I personally use a talisman for one purpose and then let it rest rather than trying to reuse it for something else. So there are different ways that you can release your talisman. I do a ritual for that as well. Like you're essentially thanking it and expressing your gratitude and releasing it. Thank you, and you are free to go, so to speak. Some people believe that you need to destroy your talisman. I've never been good at anything like that because I mean, there is something to be said if it was paper and you burn it, you release it.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
But when I'm working with something like a key that I love or a beautiful crystal or something, I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to destroy it. So that, but you could bury it, you could burn it, you could break it. But as I say, I don't like to do that. So I do, it's like saying farewell to a helpful friend that's been with you. So you want to honor it and thank it and then release it. And you're also releasing your energy too,
Mhm.
that, I've achieved this, I've achieved that goal, and now I can feel good about that and also free myself and think about maybe what's next. Yeah.
I like that because the Buddhists say that all human suffering, the source of all human suffering, is attachment.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, so you'll have mandalas that are, I mean, take hours and days and months to make,
Mhm.
and then they make them, and then, but, if you have a beautiful talisman, a beautiful thing, you're not
Mhm.
called upon to destroy it, but you're called upon to thank it, honor it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then let it,
Let it go.
it can sit in a honored place on your
Yeah.
mantle,
Exactly. Yeah.
right? But it's not imbued with the same energy because it's been accomplished. The mission has been accomplished.
Yeah, 'cause it deserves to rest and
Mhm,
be free, just as we do. So that there, again, everything comes down to intention.
mhm,
And that's what I try to get across to Erica, because I love things. I love figurines, crystals, of all the symbols that I love, everything. But I'm aware that they are things representing things that are bigger. So it's a different thing than, it's not like being attached to things in the way that, oh, I have to hoard that or collect that or I need. They bring me joy and they lift my energy and they inspire me, these things. So talismans as well. So, but I think when you've accomplished your goal, you should, part of that is also recognizing that and saying to yourself, wow, I did it. We did it, or I did it. And acknowledging that and sending out so much gratitude to yourself, to the universe, to all your helpers. But then that, if that's done, let that be done. And do it in a way that honors you and all you put into it and honors everything that helped you. And then, as you say, if it's a piece of jewelry, you decommission it, and then you can wear it just as a beautiful thing, or put it on an altar or a shelf or something.
yeah.
But when it's done its work, recognize that and say thank you, and I release you.
No,
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
What did I not ask you that you'd like?
I don't know. I think we covered a lot of good stuff.
We did. I'm looking at you and I'm kind of laughing because when I first met you, it wasn't this Kingston, it was the one before. And you and your
Yeah.
sister, my stomach still hurts from how much we were laughing that night that we were all together. Do you
That
remember
was a
that?
really good
That was
night.
so much
Yeah.
fun. Listen,
Yeah.
Kingston is a blast. Lori's going to be a presenter. Are you going to have people, I mean, not to give away. Are you going to have people make talismans or do you know what you're
I'm
presenting
doing
on
something a
yet?
little different, Erica, because the last time that I was a presenter in Kingston, I did talismans.
Okay.
And that was that was leading up to my book. That
Okay.
was right. So it's a different topic.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I will not reveal, although it's probably
Don't
on the
reveal it.
website.
Don't
So I
reveal it.
probably could.
But if
I think
people come, if people
Marilyn
want
might already have it on the
to,
website.
probably,
So
oh, maybe, but if people want to ask you questions at Kingston
oh,
about,
100%. I will be there with my books and be dazzled with talismans. And I'm sure I'll be able to weave that in there somewhere
all
because
right, good,
it's what I do. So,
good, good.
yeah.
So, you know what? I'm so glad that we did this,
Yeah, me too. Me too.
and I'm hoping that it will just give people some more ideas of tools that they can use that will make them feel as though they're not powerless in the face of everything that would have us be powerless.
Yes, that is my goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a great book. It's very comprehensive. You can cherry pick what you want to do. There's many layers. There it is. I have it on my Kindle, or I hold it up. But
Oh, yeah. It's beautiful.
it's yes, it's a beautiful cover. Yes, and so I will put the information in the show
Thank
notes. I
thank you.
definitely recommend that people get that and think about going to the conference in Kingston because you see how she presents, and I'm sure it'll be even more fascinating than whatever this new topic is, um, come 27. Is it 20? No, it's January. No, it's
2020, yeah,
November
November 2026.
2026. Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being with me.
Thank you, Erica. That was so lovely. Thank you so much for
So
having me and
glad that you
spending this
did.
time with me.
All right, you all have a good rest of your Sunday, and I will see everybody tomorrow. Regular scheduled programming, sorry. But this was your palate cleanser, your refreshment for the week. So thank you so much, Lori. Take care,
Oh, thank you.
everybody.